thumbnails, which I would like to see the thumbnails next week, please. I know we're going to have a problem next week with the 24-hour deal, but we're going to try to squeeze in a look at those thumbnails if we possibly can. If not, we'll just have to pick it up later and we'll figure something out. From your own thumbnails, using your own character design. So you must have a character design from character design class which you can use for this. I don't care what the character is. The only requirement I have is that it be a humanoid biped, meaning a human character that stands on 2 feet. No head fish octopus people, okay? Humanoid biped. So, keep your character simple, by all means. If you don't want to use those and you want to use the character that's designed for this, this is from My Dad the Rockstar. You can go online, look that up. There'll be characters that go with it that are very, very much like the design that's in this. Okay. Bridge one. Shot one is establishing shot. And shot one, the establishing shot, looks pretty much exactly like that. It is basically the design, but we're going to lower the camera a little bit and recompose things a bit. Okay, so shot number one. This shot must be well composed and includes a bridge, the river, and a full shot of your character standing by the river across the other side, actually. So, color, I need that. Okay. So, we're going to have a horizon line that is going to be down about here. We want it low. This is very voyeuristic. This is like as if we're hiding behind a bush looking across the river at this person on the other side. Our horizon line is low. We're going to put a character in this. I'm going to put the character in first. Character in first? That's crazy. What are you talking about? I don't even know where anything is here. But I want to be able to get him composed in the right spot. We want our character to be about that big, right about there. In the field. Okay, just generally in the field, that's where we want him, and he wants to be about that big. Right. The next thing that we want to do is add in the hill, and the bridge. So there's our hill and our bridge. The bridge has arches like this in it, and you can see the shadow thing like that going. You cannot see through the bridge to the other side, okay? Those are just tunnels going through. We can't see through because we don't want to design the other side of the bridge. We don't know what's over there and we don't care and we don't want it distracting us. So these are just tunnels that go through underneath the bridge, and these are abutments in the bridge with tunnels running through that way with a shadow right in there. Okay, so we want to add our river in here. Our river is going to run very shallow like this. It's going to have a little dip in it like that, and it may have a little bit in the foreground like this as well. But that's it for our water. Keep it shallow, keep the angle low. We do not want to end up with a down shot on this water. It's all complicated and crazy if we start doing that. Difficult. Other thing we want to add, we're going to add a tree in the foreground. Now, if I do this and add a tree like that, the problem with doing that is that we can't tell how wide the tree is. You just drop a tree trunk in the foreground like that in any of your compositions, it just becomes a blocking element in the front of undetermined scale and size. We need to know how big this tree actually is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, and we're going to make sure we can see both sides of the tree at some point. Always make sure that you can see it like that. We want to be able to see that little space there so we can understand how wide the tree is. As soon as I do that, I now understand where the tree sits in depth. We're going to add on here a branch that runs up the side like this. Now we've got a design that has a branch that's much steeper than this. Here's an example of using what's there, but we're going to modify it to our needs. A couple of branches sticking out like this. We've got some leaves and stuff on here like that. And that gets us to the last element that we need in here, which is there's a little hill running behind this guy back there. If you look on the design, you can see that it looks like there's a little bit of a hill running up there behind him where the bushes and all that stuff are. For the moment, we're gonna leave it just like that. So, the importance of this design right now, and the reason it's like this, is because we're gonna start manipulating what the audience sees, because we're gonna trick them into seeing something that we want them to see. When this shot comes up on the screen to the audience, the very first thing they're going to do, what is the first thing they're going to look at? By nature, by default, they cannot help it, they will look at this. The person. They absolutely will look at that person first. They will immediately walk right into that person, and through nature and through human development, assess that character for whether it's a threat to them or not, and then they'll start looking around the shot. Now, of course, it's not a threat because it's a cartoon, but it won't matter because in their environment, in human environment, that's the very first thing we do is assess threat when we look at something. So we'll look at the character, we'll go, oh, look at that, there's a character, he's standing there, isn't that neat? And then we'll start wandering. And the first thing we'll do is go over to this tree. And we'll follow the tree up to this branch, we'll go across the branch to the bridge, we'll hit all the verticals in the bridge, follow it down to the river, and follow back across the river back to the character again. And that's the path that you absolutely guarantee your audience will take as they look at this shot. And it's really, really important that they do that, because we are going to embed into the audience's mind where this bridge is. They won't be able to help it. They will simply realize, oh, there's a bridge, there's a river, the trees in the foreground, there's a guy over there. Okay, there's the information we want to the next shot. And that's the process that they'll go through. So for the moment, we're going to leave this like this as the design. This is what our shot looks like right now. We're going to move to shot 2, and then we're going to come back to shot 1 once we get something done in shot 2. So I'm going to turn that off, go to shot 2. And shot 2 is, out of the design, it is a medium to medium close-up of your character, waist to head and shoulder, meaning it is a shot from about their thigh to their head like this, or in here. Okay, more likely from their thigh to just above their head. Full character shot, we want to be able to read their emotion. That's what we're after, to get in to read the character's emotion. So we are going to have this. Our character's going to be here, looking down. Oh, it's sad. He'll be like this, perhaps hands on his hips, and we are going to do that fielding. Okay, there is our shot. There's our character part of the shot anyway. You'll notice he's probably looking down. He can look anywhere you want to on the right side of the screen except up. He cannot look up at this point. We're going to need that later. More likely, he's going to be looking down at the water. Something in front of him, whatever he's doing. It's going to be looking down that way. Okay, so, strange as it seems, the most important shot in this sequence is this shot. This is the most difficult shot to actually get to work. Reason being, we have no sense of depth in this shot. If you'll recall, when we go back here, what is behind our character? What's back there? There's just, from the design, you can see there's just like a dirt hill, right? Just a big dirt hill. So if we go here and we put in the dirt hill, what are we going to get? We're going to get, I don't know, some stuff like this maybe. Problem with that is it doesn't tell us where the character is in Z depth. We don't know where he is deep in the set. All we have is some texture behind him, but it really doesn't help us. Not a lot we can do with that. We have to get him placed in space, so we need some anchors to place him in space. And what we're going to use is that little hill. Remember that little hill I told you about that was back here behind him? We're going to put that there, and then we're going to show a piece of the river back here. This is water. Okay, so as soon as I do that, you now understand where the character sits in space. We've anchored him in Z depth, away from the back wall, in front of the water by that little island. The next thing to do here in this shot is to compose this shot. Put stuff in here that's going to compose this the way you want it. We want maybe a tree over here. Maybe we want some of that grass sticking up in the foreground. Perhaps there's a bush over here we want. We possibly see another piece of a tree over here. We just want to compose this shot so that it looks good. All that matters is that this shot looks good, regardless of what's in the design or what's in the previous shot. Get this shot to look good. Once we've got that, we're happy with it. We go back to this shot and compose whatever we had in here to match the shot we just did with the striations on the hill, all that good stuff. So we make the wide shot match the close-up because the close-up is the compositional shot. That's the one that has to look good. So we simply do it backwards. We go back to here now. Our cut now works because it has to. We compose them against one another. And we have to add one more thing in here. Our character is going to look up. He's going to look up. He's not going to turn. He's not going to turn his head or turn his body. He's simply going to tilt his head up and look up. So, the question now is, when he looks up and we cut to his point of view, what will he see? Anybody in here, what will he see?
The bridge.
Somebody says the bridge. Anybody think anything else? Let's go to the overhead. Did I do an overhead? Do an overhead. Let's see. We have a bridge here. We have a river running under here like this. And our character is probably standing there. Our first shot was here like that. Our second shot went in for a close-up like that. And our third shot is the POV from this character's position right here, looking up. What's he going to see?
Does he see a bit of the bridge?
You think he's going to see this area over here? Or he's going to see this? Technically, it's kind of a trick. Technically, yes, he would see this area, but that doesn't do us any good. We want him to see this. Now, you would think, in order for him to see the bridge, he would have to turn when he looks up. The beauty in all of this is that very rarely when you go into a theater do they provide you with schematics of all the locations and designs so that you know where everything is. The audience will believe whatever you tell them. If you make them think that they're looking at the right thing, they will believe that that's what they're supposed to be looking at and it's in the right place. In this particular case, we're going to trick the audience into seeing the bridge and believe it, that that's what the character would be looking at. And the reason we can do that is because of what we did here. When we went to this shot, remember I said the audience's eye is going to move around this shot in a particular manner, and we intentionally did that. We embedded in the audience's brain that this bridge is screen right. And that's all that matters, is they think it's screen right. So that when we go in here and your character looks up and he's looking screen right, when we go to do the last shot, we are going to see the bridge because the bridge was screen right. And that's all that was understood. Yes, the bridge is screen right. So when I draw this bridge, I'm going to do two things here. The audience will believe they should be looking at the bridge. Now, the bias on the bridge. You know what I mean by bias? Which way is the major perspective working? Which way is the perspective on the bridge working? Is it working the way the blue line is showing, or is it working the way the green line is I got blues and I got greens. Who thinks it's the blue line? That it would be the blue perspective. Yes? Well, that's the issue. What do you think? Is it blue or green?
Green.
Green. People think green. Green, blue. You're uncertain, right? This is where the ambiguity comes in. Because even you're uncertain. I just laid this out for you and showed you an overhead. And you still don't know whether it would be blue or green. Which means the audience isn't going to have a freaking clue. They'll believe anything you tell them. We are going to use green because it works for us technically. Here's why. Going back to the overhead. We're going to go here and shoot like that. As if the character looked up and is going to see this section of the bridge over here. It'll be that way because we have crossed the river. Again, in the audience's mind, the bridge is on the end of the river. When we cross the river and turn around and look where we came from, the bridge should have the other bias. We have crossed over. We have crossed over the river and are looking back at the bridge now. So the bridge will have the bias of the green. Crazy as it seems, it will be that bias. I hate the position of it right now, but it will be that bias. I'm going to fix it, come up with it better. It will be this way. From the character's POV on the other side of the river. So the arches will go like this, and the shadows will run in there like that. Okay, now, if I put a person up here, if whatever you want to put up on the bridge, you can put whatever you want to up there. I'm just going to, for simplicity's sake right now, put a person up here, and the person's going to be about that big. And here's where the problem with the light stanchions comes in, because those light stands are going to be about that big relative to a person size. The design has them much bigger. Look what happens if I put the light stanchions in that big. It takes on a whole different feeling. So, our light stands are about that size and our character is about that big. Our character is looking up the river. He has not seen the other character yet. Okay, he's looking up the river, and we are from the POV looking at a person up at him. POV, and this is important. Remember where your character is. He's here, right? He's over here. He's not up here looking at the bridge. He's way down on the river, looking up at the bridge. So we would not get it. We don't get a close-up up in here like that. We simply get this wide shot. This is a series of questions and answers, and this is storytelling. This is getting the storytelling correct. You're manipulating the audience into thinking what you want them to think. You're asking a series of questions. You're getting them to ask a series of questions, and you are providing the answers that you want them to have. Let's go back here and look. Here's our opening shot. Look around through here. He ends up on the character, and he asks the question. What's the question that he asks? What's the question the audience asks? Who is that? We provide an answer. It's this guy. Oh, look at him. I wonder what he's doing. What's he looking at in the river? Doesn't matter. He looks up. He looks up and looks off screen upper right, and we ask the question, what is he looking at? And we provide the answer, right? He's looking at the bridge. Oh, look at what's up on the bridge. The question is, what is that? And here's where we can provide an answer or not. And this is where your complex storytelling starts. We can provide the answer, and what would the shot be if we provided that answer, and be very careful? What would the shot be? What would shot 4 be if we provided the answer to this question? So you're suggesting we would make a close-up cut-in on the character like that to show the character? In actual fact, that would be, why would that be wrong? Why would that be a problem? Anybody?
Is it a jump cut?
Yeah, why?
Like, because it's like, it's already,
You're already in that angle, and
Yeah.
but you can get away with that. You can do that. There's a technical reason why we cannot cut in close to the character from this position. What is this position? Where are we? What are we?
it's like a down shot, it's like looking up.
It's not necessarily the technical shot. What are we in this shot? What have we taken on?
Point of view, and you can't
Yeah,
zoom in.
we're a POV. We're looking, we went to a POV, and we cannot cut to a closer angle on the same POV unless we grow wings and fly up to the bridge. But we're going to change the character's position. If we do that, we technically have changed the character's position. When we cut back to the character, they cannot be where they were because we moved them in their own POV to a new position, right? So we really can't do that. People do it all the time. You see it all the time in movies. It's because they didn't pay attention when they were editing it together. They lost track that they were actually in a POV. How do we get around it? There are ways, yeah?
You can do it over the shoulder.
Yeah. If you turn this to an over-the-shoulder shot, then you can do the cut, right? Because it's no longer a POV shot. It's now an over-the-shoulder shot. Over-the-shoulder shot has its own problems, though, particularly in this case. The over-the-shoulder would have to be here, right? Because of our screen direction. We had the character on screen right looking left. Screen left looking right, we can't suddenly put the character over here having him left looking right across an axis. So the shot suggests that you want the cross shot like this. You're stacking the character up here, looking here, leaving all this open space is not a pleasant shot. It would mean that we'd have to move this character over to here to get it to balance properly in the shot. That means a very different shot, but it could be done. What else might the next shot be? If we've asked the question, who is that? But what if we don't want to answer it? What if part of the storytelling is that we don't want this answer? We want to torture the audience a little bit more, make them work for this. What might we do? Yeah.
For more of like a mysterious one, they would cut to the person on the bridge with over the shoulder looking back.
That would be that we could get away with. It would be a tricky cut, but yes, it might suggest that maybe. Yeah, we could do it. It's a reverse, a complete reverse of this shot. We could cut to a PO. We could cut to a down shot of this person, of the person who POV we're in right now. We could cut to a down shot of them from up near the bridge, and then we could go to a close-up of them for a reaction. Because we have not suggested any POV. We could go to a close-up of that, and then we could cut back to this character, and then we could do a close-up, because we're no longer in the POV. So we could go to a reverse, close-up, reverse, upshot, reverse, down shot with a close-up. And we can get away with that. But what we've essentially done here is we have pivoted the camera on a character. Through a character's minor little action, we have pivoted the camera, which is a really useful tool in storytelling. We've gone from across the river. So if it's you, we've gone across the river to a close-up, and then your slight little motion has allowed us to pivot the camera to a new position and look at something new. We could go up to that character, cut back down to you, cut back and forth between these now, and now we have a new axis between these characters. We can go back across the river again. We simply go back to you, have you change your eye direction again, and come back over here and shoot back up here again. But we can pivot on the character, and it takes the slightest little action. I'm going to show you one in Alien where they did it when I bring Alien up in the next semester, where there's nothing more than a person's eyes move. Their eyes just flick. They go from there to there, and Ridley Scott cuts right on their eye direction change and goes to a new angle, and that's all it takes to pivot a camera around a character like that. It's really cool when you see it happen, and if you're aware of it, you can, start to learn how to use these tools to do this. You as an audience, which of course I'm gonna ruin all that for you and you'll never be able to watch a movie again, normally. You just buy it and you're, because you're so keyed on the person's eyes, the slightest little movement like that is enough to trigger a cut that allows you to set up an entirely new axis. But there's your pivot, right there, up to your character. Now this can be anything, guys. Can be swamp monster, whatever you want up there. Just a person is perfectly fine. But remember, this is a long shot. This is not an answer shot. This is a question shot. What is that? Oh, I see that. I wonder what that is. That's what has to be answered here. Do not answer the question. Make the question get asked. All right, so there's your 3 shots. So, make sense? Keep it simple. Okay, keep that design simple. There's no reason to have a whole bunch of stuff in there. The simpler it is, the better. You're trying to get a clean read on the stuff. You start filling up the background with bushes and trees and you can't read what's happening, that's when it gets complicated. Difficult. Yeah. No, we're just asking the question. So just the pivot. We're after the pivot. Yeah.
What is a long shot? Could we not just immediately go back to reaction?
Yes, we could. Think back to the reaction of the POV. Yeah, we could just cut right back around. We'd have an upshot like that, but we would cut around to pick up the person's reaction. And it could be a surprise, it could be sad, it could, like, you can get a whole bunch of stuff out of that, which gets into your storytelling and the complexities of character interaction. And like, this is how this stuff's done. Like, it's all in the shot that you pick. Absolutely. Okay, so everybody knows what they gotta do. I wanna see some thumbnails for next week. I mean, basically what I just did there is the thumbnails, so, like, do that. So this whole 24-hour thing next week's gonna really impact this class, right? How many people in here do this? That's gonna be fun. Okay, so those people that aren't, obviously bring your thumbnails, we'll look at those people who are. Still, I mean, this is a set of thumbnails. It take a few minutes to look at them. If you want to just have me take a quick look, I can tell you whether you're on the wrong path or whether you can fix something really quick. The week after that, we're going to be doing some full-size roughs for this, and then we're going to do a final for it for the week after that, which is the 7th week, just before the break. Wow, break already? What? What's going on? 7 weeks? What? The equipment doesn't even work yet. How come we break, for God's sake? Okay, so that makes sense? Are all good? Okay, so let's do that. I will leave this up for the moment. Anybody wants to see it? I see people taking pictures down there. So, yeah. Clear? We're good. So let's